Hey, what's up, guys? So, sitting here today with Wylie Messer. Wylie, thanks for joining us. Now, you kind of serve two roles.
Yeah.
So let's first talk about Weld.com. What is Weld.com for somebody that may have not reached your portal yet?
Yeah. So Weld.com is basically social media for welders. It's everything that is welding. Everything welding. So we work with educators across the country and around the world. We push a lot of the new technology out to the industry. Right now, we just built a new app, social media for welders. It's a Weld app. You can check it out at the App Store. We incorporated all new stuff on there, job boards, basically like Instagram and Facebook, all on one thing. But it's for welders, built by welders. Everything's welding related. You're not going to find odd stuff on there. So it's a really cool deal. It's helping to broaden the networking and community of the welders. So if you're in Timbuktu and you need a tip on how to do this and that, you post it on there, and there's going to be 500,000 people that'll push it your way and give you the answer that you need.
All right, that's cool. And the other role you serve is on the education side of the house. So you're a welding instructor at the high school level.
Yeah.
What links the welding instructor and the industry? What are you teaching in your class that's directly relevant right now?
So the most relevant thing I'm seeing in the industry is a lot of places are teaching just how to burn rods. Like we're just running coupons in the booth all day. I'm seeing a lot of places that are moving towards doing more live work simulations. For instance, our high school, we've got booths all throughout. But the last couple of years, I've been pushing to buy more generator machines and things like that, so we can get out in the field, outside of the shop,
right,
and do stuff in simulated live work. So taking high schoolers and teaching them how to be iron workers, millwrights, and fitters and things like that outside of the shop, and not just sitting in a classroom or in a booth, just burning the same rod, doing the same coupon every day. So I'm seeing a lot of movement towards that all across the industry, even within you guys especially. You guys
right,
have these massive simulators in there, so you're teaching everybody a whole new way of things that we haven't been doing for the last, 20 years or so. We've just been sitting in booths, burning rods, and then you learn the field stuff once you get out of school. So it's nice to see a lot of the things in education going more to live work and getting your hands wet and learning how it's going to be when you get out of school.
What was your primary reason to transition from an industry professional as a millwright into welding education?
So my biggest thing was I was on the road a lot. So I think my last year as a millwright, I was home 13 days out of the entire year. And
wow.
That was Christmas and Thanksgiving. Aside from that, I really saw the numbers from AWS a couple years ago said that there was a need for 350,000 welders, and we were only putting out 50,000 a year,
right,
nationwide. And I saw that, and I love what we do. Like, welding saved my life. It got me out of where I was when I was younger, and it really made a huge difference in my life. So I wanted to give that back to the industry and the community. So I got with my instructor, Tim Pinson. I think you know him from Madison County. So I got with him. He told me how to get into the industry as an educator. Went through the process. I was already on my way there, and I didn't even know it. Working on getting the degrees and stuff like that through the colleges, but it really is just about growing the community for me. I mean, it saved my life. I'm sure you didn't know what you were doing when you were in high school until you found a rod, and it just makes a world of difference in a lot of these kids' lives. I mean, I've got kids that are coming out of some of the worst places you can imagine. When I was at the Department of Juvenile Justice, like, those kids needed somewhere to go to get them off the street and doing the bad stuff they were doing. Welding pointed them in a direction. Now they're making more than I do as a teacher. So,
yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, and it makes me happy to see where everything's growing. And we got so many people. We got almost 400 people here at least.
Yeah, there's a huge pile of people here.
So I mean, just growing this community. That's my biggest reason to get into education.
You know, and I think social media has played a huge part in that. You know, you mentioned earlier, 10, 15 years ago, there was no social media.
Yeah.
Now you are 100% connected to 100% of the people in your life,
Yeah.
100% of the time. So it's unreal. One little post can be seen by millions of people.
Yeah.
And industry has taken advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know, so big name industry like American Welding Society and brands like Lincoln and Miller,
Yeah.
And apparel companies, they're all taking advantage of social media. Do you see the social media continuing to grow and play a part in our industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's growing every day. I mean, even with the app that we built for weld.com, I mean, we went from having 0 users 3 months ago to having nearly 20,000 in just 3 months. And we're just slowly trickling new things out every day. And you can get on there and see, like, somebody, I had a guy say, he was a first-time welder, ran his first bead. His instructor was out of the room and needed a tip. He posted a picture. In 10 minutes, he had 25 or 30 different instructors and educators just laying it on for him what to do next and how to make it better. So, I mean, using that as a resource to really grow your skill level and your network. I mean, a lot of times if a job ends, you don't know where you're going until a buddy calls you or something like that. Now we got social media that says, hey, I've got a need for 3 fitters and 4 welders over here in Jacksonville, and you can just send it out and tell all your buddies about it.
Right.
Makes it so much easier to grow our industry, and all the social media stuff with the brands that are supporting us, Lincoln, Miller, Pipeliners Cloud, all those guys, they're really pushing to put their brands in front of people, and like all us at the schools, like we get to wear the Up and Smoke, the Wranglers and things like that. They'll send it to us just so we can push their stuff out and help them grow their business and help us show students what brands are out there that actually help us in the long run.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool. Social media is definitely saving. I wouldn't say it's saving the industry, but it's definitely growing it to an extreme. Like, I mean, 10 years ago, if we tried to do an event like this, we'd have, 50, 60 kids? Now we've got 400. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people and a lot of push in the industry, for different things and different outlooks. I think the industry is still going to continue to grow. I think with new technology. But recently talked with some folks with Lincoln, and some of the newer technologies they have that are coming out, they can't even talk about yet because it's still so proprietary. But I think those technologies are really going to fast track some of the way we used to traditionally do things. If you take regular MIG welding, it sometimes caught a bad rap for cold lap and whatever, and now it's making a turn with the RMD, those and STT, those special processes.
We can really burn it in there now. We don't have to worry about cold lap, and everything had to be uphill, and now we can do a little bit of downhill and still get a good penetration. So it's amazing the way machines are moving now.
Yeah, and you got these top-notch companies like Fluor or Bechtel, and even some of your smaller companies. They can hire a lesser skilled welder to run those RMD, those MIG processes. And then when you get into the special alloy companies like UPS and some of those guys, they're still looking for that TIG welder. So you with technology, you can be well-rounded and well-versed.
Definitely well-rounded. I remember years ago, it was almost it was really difficult to get a teacher to teach MIG at the high school level. It was always stick or TIG or oxy-fuel. Now it's growing to the point like all these companies are coming in like, hey, here's a pallet of wire, run it, teach these kids how to run MIG so they can come over here and work for us. Like Link Belt, they brought us a whole pile of steel and said, hey, we want you to teach them how to run downhill on this sheet metal. I was like, absolutely. We've got the resources now, we can do it. Machines are super easy to set when it comes down to that stuff, and our filler metals are growing, the machines are growing. It's great.
You mentioned one thing, you mentioned Link Belt company specifically, but I think that connection is super important. That we have welding educators such as myself and you who are working directly with industry so that we create the bond so when our students graduate, they have an option. They can go get gainful employment. College isn't for everyone.
No,
college is great. College has its reason and its purpose. But a lot of times you'll take someone who can't afford college or doesn't want to wait for 4 years, and getting into skilled trades, whether it's welding or masonry, driving a truck, all those things are super important.
Yeah, it's always important. I mean, I've got kids one kid came through here. He wanted to do some engineering stuff, but he needed to work his way through college. So he came here, worked with you guys, got out. Now he's welding and going to school for engineering. So I mean, there's a balance between the two. I mean, I remember years ago it was everybody pushed welding and skilled trades because it was what was it? They called it low achievers and things like that. But realistically, like, we're more high achievers than anything. I mean, we've got to learn the technical side of things and the skilled trade and hands-on. So I feel like we're doing a good service to kids nowadays, trying to balance both.
Yeah, I think so, and I'm glad you mentioned that because If someone just wants to learn how to weld and they don't know why they can't overheat the metal, or they don't understand the reason that they must follow the procedure, then we're going to have some weld failures. So when you start teaching the technical aspect of it, and the student understands, then they can start to come together, because let's face it, when you put the hood down, it's just you and the puddle, and it's the size of a pencil eraser.
That's it. That's all you got. So you got to go into the booth, looking at that puddle, knowing how to manipulate it, knowing what chemistry goes into it, knowing the chemistry and the molecules that go together between your filler metal and the base material, because a lot of times you're not using the same, because you want a higher strength filler than you do your base material. So you've really got to use your chemistry, and then you go into TIG and MIG, and you got to throw the gas in there, and then it's a whole nother ball game when you're getting into the technical side of things. The chemistry and the math that goes into our trade is outrageous. Like, we do a lot more math than people think, but we do it in a different way. We do it hands-on, and
pipe fitting and blueprint reading, all the skills that a lot of people think are not useless, and there's been countless times that I've heard the statement that said, well, he or she's not real smart, but they'd probably be a good welder. That's kind of downgrading, because you have to have a lot of technical knowledge and a lot of skill, and you mentioned it, a whole lot of math going into something.
There's a whole lot goes into it. So it's not just for the kids that are having a hard time sitting still in class. I mean, it does help those kids a lot, but it's not because those kids are low achievers. They just need to do something with their hands.
Right.
But it goes a long way. Everything we do is growing the industry. I mean, all of our manufacturers, Lincoln and Miller and Hobart and everybody, they're putting so much time into R&D and just really hammering in on making things easier for us and a better product at the end of the day. I mean, it's amazing how far we've grown. Since 15 years ago when I was in high school and just getting started, like, the machines were crank dial, trying to get in.
We're cranking, turning around.
Cranking them up. I mean, I remember we used to run an old Airco. I think they are even a thing anymore, but I mean, going from that to the new machines with, like, even that GXT right there, I mean, that's totally different what it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. But so I'm probably a little, a few generations older than you maybe. So I remember machines before there was a dial. If we want to change the temperature, we unplugged it here and stuck it down there.
Yeah. I've seen them. I've never ran one. That was way before me.
Right. Yeah. So you didn't have any type of a fine tune. You had that spot,
high or low.
And if you didn't like that spot, you had to go to the next spot. So you had to compensate. So again, as the technology over the years has improved, so now machines are digitally controlled. You can auto start. You can auto remote, so a lot of things going on.
Yeah, we just bought a machine not long ago. I think it was Miller. It has the auto set on it. I was like, what is this? You take all the hard work out of it. I had to figure this all out for years. Now you just hit a button and it gets you a starting point. It's not exact, but it's a starting point at least. Yeah. It's really cool the way that is grown into the industry is auto set. You hit it, put in your material level and material size and all that stuff, and it sets it for you. It's really cool. It's amazing what it was. And when you were in high school compared to what these high school kids got it now, they can just hit a button and go. I try to turn that off on them. I want to learn the hard way. But
there you go. No easy street.
No easy street. But later on when they're running something that they've never ran before, being able to hit that button and get a starting point, or get on the Weld app and put in on the calculator there to get you a baseline. It's kind of cool. Yeah. So unlike us, we had it the hard way. We had to pull out the old slide calculators and try to guess, weld a little bit to figure it out. But now these kids kind of got it easy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Kind of jealous.
Yeah. We sure appreciate you coming in, chatting with us today. I want to wish you good luck in your events coming up, and you got some competitors here in the Kentucky Welding Institute contest, and you got some competitors coming up in Kentucky Skills.
Yeah, hopefully we go in and take some good spots at state. I know you guys will be out there, and you guys can support Skills USA and everything else so well. It's just awesome what you guys do for us.
That's for sure.
We really appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me out.
Yeah, so if you want some links to some of the things we've talked about, check out Lincoln and Miller, the two most popular brands. Also Weld.com, Skills USA, and American Welding Society. Tune in the next time.
So hopefully you guys like this video. We'll be putting out more videos on our YouTube channel, so subscribe to that. And also check out our website. We have links, and we also have shop for clothing and a virtual tour. Until next time, see you there.